What is going on, fellow fanatics? Welcome back. Welcome back. For everybody that was here earlier today, if we have, I don't know how many people we might have in the chat with us right now, but or any in the chat or viewing. We appreciate all you guys being here. We are going to quickly talk about the season finale of Hot D, House of Dragon. That this whole entire season was definitely crazy. This was definitely, I mean, as far as like finale goes, I was not privy to anything prior to watching House of Dragon. During my journey of House of Dragon, I started watching Game of Thrones, and I'm currently about to start season 5 of Game of Thrones. And with that, I have been delving so much deeper into this world as far as, because when I have an addictive personality, so when I get onto something, I definitely have to know more about it. You guys hear me say all the time, I can't take somebody else's word for something. I have to know that's the lore and things for myself. So I have been diving deep into the lore of just the Game of Thrones world. So I knew how this episode was going to go. I knew what was going to happen. It was, I was the whole, as soon as, well, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for being here to my beautiful co-host. I've got Corey on here with me, and I've got Trey here with me. We are going to be, again, talking the season finale of House of Dragon. So let's get right into what is going on here. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
So much is going on.
Here we go. Yeah, sorry. There was a lot going on there. So we are going to take this a little scene by scene here and break this down for you guys, and go through exactly what we saw.
Yeah.
So let's just start here with the opening scene. And in the opening scene here, it is basically Lucerys talking to Rhaenyra, and her basically feeling the pressures of taking over Driftmark. If Lord Corlys at that time, they didn't know, was going to pass or not. And we've seen this weight on Lucerys the entire time, ever since he was named, heir to Driftmark. The look of not always wanting to do it, the look of fear. And not only that, I guess feeling as if they, when they first came back to King's Landing, when they were, it was with these same actors when they first had come back to King's Landing, and Jacaerys wasn't really worried about everybody looking at them, but Lucerys was. He's like, everybody's looking at us. He also feels like, okay, I know that I am not a Velaryon. I know that I'm strong. I know that I really am not supposed to be sitting on this throne. But I liked that opening scene. Trey, your thoughts on that scene there?
See, what's really great about the cinematography of these shows, and something that I noticed, so this scene and the entire episode opens up with a shot of the map, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up from the map, and it discusses, it's one of her children not feeling the right to ascend to basically where she has given him, right? And what I love about this is later on in the episode, it literally shows after her coronation and finding out everything, the map is lit. Your children, because she relates to him in this of, my father put me in this position. I was scared. I was 10 and 4, or 4 and 10, like you were, the same age. I was scared. And then it turns, this whole episode is forcibly assuming your duty. So I think through the cinematography and the slow building storytelling of things like that, I mean, I think it's a masterclass in how they brought this forth. Everything about it, I mean, it was a fantastic framing for what comes at the end of this episode between these two.
Right. Corian, what did you think about this episode, or not this episode, sorry, this particular scene in the episode?
I think it was very emotional. I mean, piggybacking on what Trey said, I think just with the cinematography, it just really captured the emotion in the room, and just that bonding moment, not just between, two people who were put in a position that they're scared and they have to do this duty, but also, a mom and a son.
Right.
And the fact that she had to step up, and the fact that he has to step up. So I thought it was amazing, and it literally gave me chills. I thought it was a really great way to start the episode, because especially with how it ends, for sure.
Right.
You kind of get to see that different side of her. You kind of get to see that mother side.
Right.
That we haven't really had a chance to see.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I thought that was a good scene. And then, now we're moving on to the next scene here where where Rhaenys is finally arrived at Dragonstone from leaving King's Landing. And she reveals the news of what happened in the last episode. Now, I was not here to discuss that last episode, but the disrespect in the last episode pissed me the fuck off. Obviously, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, but just the disrespect of the High Towers, Otto's plotting, I understand. I actually felt for Alicent in that episode because she was put in the middle. She was torn in. We can't really blame Alicent for hearing what she heard because it just wasn't, it was the truth, but it wasn't it wasn't the truth in that way. Like it wasn't her Aegon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it was one of the other 19 Aegons.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
So we can't really blame Alicent. Right. So, I mean, I still think too, though, them rushing and plotting and the secretiveness of trying to get Aegon on the throne without Rhaenyra knowing and Daemon finding out and all these other things, that was the shady part. That's why I fault Alicent, because I understand again what your father told you. You're looking out as a mother. You're looking for your son. It's the same kind of things that I say in the Marvel universe for Wanda, where I give Wanda the vindication there, because to me, you are a mother doing what you have to do for your child. And she was looking out for the best interest for her child. Her father's been telling her, this entire time, if Rhaenyra takes her throne, he's going to slit your child's throat. So now that's in the forefront of her mind, I'm sure. Right. But I just thought though that it was the disrespect. So then you have Rhaenys coming in here in this scene, and she's telling Daemon and Rhaenyra exactly what happened, what was going on.
I'm gonna be real honest with you here. I got what everyone said last episode about, and she even said in this episode, Rhaenys, about how she wasn't going to start this war and she wasn't right? And this isn't her war. She wanted to remind them that she is the queen that never was, right? That's all fine and good. And if she would have killed him there, we wouldn't have a show anymore.
Right.
But, I'm kind of getting tired of this woman because she's like, oh, I didn't kill them, even though they made it very clear what's happening. But then I'm going to align myself with you and put my heirs and grandchildren on the line of duty when I could have ended this myself. I'm a little.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I oppose that because I love how they're writing this character, because I think she is right. This is not her war.
But she aligned
to start because
is her war now, though, and her grandchildren.
Yeah, because she decided. I think if it was her war, it would have started from the jump. It would have been we wouldn't have not gone as far as we would have gone as we know. But I think she knew in that moment. And I think too, that moment that her and Alicent shared, it was bigger than starting a war. It was a mom and a mom moment. Like, I'm going to spare you this because you're just protecting your son. But I also see where the frustration is, because she did alliance with him, but like, what else are you gonna do? You can't run.
I thought in that moment. I'm sorry. I thought in that moment, for me, from that, I thought when Rhaenys, that was that fuck around and find out moment. Like,
that was like you're gonna find out.
Yeah, y'all fuck around and find out, because Trey, I'm on the same side, because had she, I see both sides actually, because I get it. Had she done it, obviously there's no show, but the whole time I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Ricardus the fuck out of them.
Yeah, not only that, and we can dive into this later when the scene comes up, but it's the same thing of Rhaenyra not wanting to cast the first stone, be the first violent person to start this war, and
it cost her son.
And that's what I'm saying. Daemon is like, you're fucking stupid, and look what it cost her. He was right.
Yeah.
As wrong as it is, all this like, oh, let's keep the peace and just threaten each other and not kill each other while your children are going to die. And it's your fault at this point because you could have stopped it.
Like at some point, something's going to set it off. Whether it's you or them, something's going to set it off.
Right. And then, she comes in, she's telling her, Aegon has been crowned as his successor to Viserys. And as she's saying that, Rhaenyra is having the contractions and things like that. The stress of everything, the stress of losing her father, the stress of, I guess the stress of even taking on being queen at that point. What's up, Cornelius? Thank you for being here, bro. Being queen at that point. She is now queen. So the stress of that. And then you've got everything that's going on. So then you fast forward, moving on some more. It's, Rhaenys just continuing to tell them what's going on, letting her know that the greens are coming for her. The stress, that's adding more stress on to the contractions that, the baby's coming too early, as she, they just said that. And then I guess, what was that? A maester that told Daemon this shouldn't be happening. The baby's coming too early. Then Rhaenys, walks out to the princes. The princes have come in, talk to Rhaenyra. They're talking to Rhaenyra about, just what was going on. Rhaenyra talks to them about her expectations, things that she needs them to do, and blah, blah, blah. And that she wanted Jaehaerys to tell everyone, hey, nobody lifts a finger until I'm ready to move on with whatever plan it is. Let's get to the part here, though. And we've also got, where Daemon, I like the conversation between Daemon and the Kings or the Knights of the Kingsguard there.
Bro, I'm just going to say, if I was one of those Kingsguard, the minute Caraxes showed up, I would have
flexing the power.
I would have shit my pants. I would have literally shit my pants. Can we go back a scene? I don't know if anyone noticed, which I thought was interesting. I haven't, so let it be known, I have not yet dove into the world of Game of Thrones yet. I'm going to start it now that this season's officially over, because I just wanted the full experience of this show without having expectations. When she was having the baby, did you guys notice there was little parts of the scene where she had flashes of
a dragon? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
does that tie in? I thought that was really interesting. I didn't know if that was like something normal, if that's something of this world. Did I miss something? I just thought it was a really interesting scene, especially how they put it in with that particular scene.
They're on Dragonstone, right? There are more dragons there than anywhere in the world. What you are hearing is a dragon, because there are lots of dragons there, and it is in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, it is a visual and audible understanding of the House of the Dragon, that she knows she is miscarrying, and she's literally screaming, "Get out of me! I have to be queen now. I have to do something. Get the fuck out of me." She knows the baby's dead, and the dragon is roaring. She is beyond furious. That whole thing.
Was that like a representation of like
her rage?
Like, was that like the dragon?
It's kind of like once you get to, you'll know this once you start watching Game of Thrones. You've got Daenerys, who literally is the mother of dragons. I mean, she can walk through fire and all types of, shit like that. So you've got her dragons. Now, there's a scene with her and her dragons where she's told, you cannot tame the dragons. But I mean, she eventually does kind of. I'm not too far in, but it seems like Drogon's more so listening to her than he was at the beginning. Trey, am I right in that?
Yeah, Drogon is her son.
Yes. So she they have this connection, like a special connection. Like even the scene with Daemon in the cave when he was singing in that's Valyrian, right?
Right.
Yeah. When he was singing in High Valyrian, that connection between him and the dragon, the eye connection that they made. What's that? They have a special connection with the dragons. That's why they are.
What did I say last time? I said sired, and you were like, "Now you throwing a Twilight quote in there," and I was like, "That, yeah."
Well, because it's a lot of this. I'll be straightforward with you, and then we can get back into the episode. A lot of the Targaryen mythos with their dragons is not clear. It is intentionally unclear. Do they have an actual spiritual bond with a dragon? Does something in their blood make them do it? There is actually a scene, and it will be done in season 2, so I won't say what it is, where there's a lot of people that attempt to tame some dragons that show up. All of them have mixed Targaryen blood. Some of them get eaten. Lots of them get eaten. And the dragon
makes sense.
It's more of like the dragon chooses you.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Vhagar liked Aemond because Vhagar likes venturous people. Vhagar likes people who take risks.
That makes sense.
But it even seemed, we'll get to that, but it even seemed like Aemon
We're gonna get
couldn't
to that
control
scene.
Aegon.
Ooh, right.
But I really liked this. This scene was interesting to me. And the reason that this scene was interesting to me was, of course, you know, them coming. And which one is that? Which brother is that? That's Eric, or which one? One of the Erics or whatever.
I
But
want to say
it's always
Eric was
Eric
the
and
one
Eric,
that was
right?
opposed. I think
think-
Eric was the one that was opposed to Aegon becoming king.
okay,
I think their names are Eric and Eric. ER
Yeah.
ERIKK and ARIKK.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him coming up, you know, pledging allegiance to Queen Rhaenyra, which rightfully so, in my opinion, I'm so Team Black. So you know, pledging allegiance to Rhaenyra. But the scene got interesting to me once everyone bowed and he finished saying what he said. Rhaenys had still not bowed. You know, Rhaenys did not bend the knee. Even when she walked into her the Knights round or her round table there.
That
Rhaenys still didn't even curtsy or bow her head or anything. It was still just like, I guess I still need to speak with Corlys before I do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
she did say she cannot align her husband's fleet.
which I definitely,
Yes.
again, I think I just have such a respect for her and this character and how they are writing her. I really do. I have so much respect for
Are
her
you
because
talking
as she
Rhaenyra or
should.
Rhaenys?
I think she just Rhaenys.
Okay, Rhaenys. I'm a big Rhaenys fan too. I'm a big fan of the Queen that never was. I mean, the reason
I love how they're writing her.
Yeah, I personally like Rhaenys. I really do. I'm like I said, I'm so pro Team Black. So, but she was pissing me off this episode, especially with when she didn't bend the knee. I'm thinking to myself, Rhaenys, sister, bend the knee. Like, what are you doing? I was like, she is
I think
queen.
in a way, I kind of knew where she's coming from, though. I think in a way, I think she was trying to figure out what was her next. She was trying to figure out if she still wanted to be on Team Black.
Well,
I think she always knew she was going to be Team Black, but I think she needed that confirmation from the Queen to be like, okay, I'm in this.
I think it's more of she's very prideful. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but it goes back to her saying, "Oh, I didn't kill them," and this and that and the other. Well, your granddaughters are Team Black, so you're Team Black. You're just being difficult.
But I also like the way that the actress herself put it at the end of this episode, where it was like, you know, she and Rhaenyra did have their issues in the beginning, but as she saw Rhaenyra being the boss, basically, that she was, and commanding, you know, she even told Corlys, that girl is the only basically without, because I don't know what she said verbatim, but basically that girl is the only one with a temperament at that table that's not lifting a finger just to go blasting into war right now.
Right.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, we skipped over it, but bro, that because this is one this is one long pretty much fucking day for her, right? She goes through one of the most traumatic things a woman can go through. Literally, my household was sobbing. It was rough. And then she has to go into becoming queen, accepting that she is, you know, her throne has been usurped from her, right? But then, like you said, remembering the Song of Ice and Fire and not wanting to plunge the realm into chaos is like, dude, Rhaenyra got so many points for me this episode.
No, like I said, no, she is queen. She's queen, man. I mean, I loved her stepping in as queen already. Like, when I'm telling you, like, the transformation Rhaenyra made when she put the crown on was just like,
well, and it's also
she instantly became queen.
Of what she said, though, whenever she said, when dragons go to war, everything's reduced to ash. Right. Those of us who have finished Game of Thrones, you will see what a dragon does to an army. An army is from a dragon just burning it all to the ground.
Oh, I can mean,
you will have.
I mean, I haven't seen the show, but common sense.
I mean, but not only that, like I said, I know that just from listening to the history of the Targaryens. I mean, Aegon the Conqueror, what he did and his sister wives, what they did taking over, you know, the seven.
Yeah, I don't mean that like. Clearly, we know what a dragon can do. It's just in Westerosi culture, when the dragons come to end something, it ends.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then we've got them all here at the table, you know, just talking about who they've got, people or as allies and things like that. And I love hearing, obviously, me watching Game of Thrones right now. I love hearing familiar names, the Starks, the Baratheons, the Aarons, like hearing all those names. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. The Lannisters, obviously, and it makes sense that the Lannisters do not fuck with the Targaryens right now because they never fucked with the Targaryens. You know, so it's pretty. It's really interesting when you're hearing all these names, all these connected pieces are just making sense.
I mean, they tried to fuck with the Targaryens, but Rhaenyra rejected the now
Right?
dead
Yeah,
Lannister
yeah,
family.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
like, nah, fuck you.
But see, I do like that they said that too because I had to, because my wife hasn't seen Game of Thrones either. You know, they mentioned the Starks, and I literally paused the TV to turn to her and explain to her, out of every single family that exists in this entire universe, there is one family you can trust no matter what. It is the fucking Starks, because they will
It is
never
the
break through.
Starks.
And
It is the
whatever the
Starks.
arcs say, the North does. So, like, yeah. And then she was like, well, what about House Baratheon? And I'm like, they have a checkered history with the Targaryens.
They do. But I like this part here that Rhaenyra even said when she said, just as we prayed nightly for the sea snake, after she had just got done telling Rhaenys, you know, we hope that we can get your help. You know, just as we prayed for you guys, and you know, blah blah blah. And Rhaenys' face after that, I even liked Rhaenys' face when Daemon started talking and he started naming the dragons that they have. Rhaenys was like, "Oh, you have what's her dragon's name? Starts with an M.
Starts with an M.
Melees.
Yeah, Melees. She's like when he's like, we got Melees.
Yeah, she was like, oh, you.
Rhaenys. Yeah, Rhaenys' face was like, oh, you got
She's like, yeah,
Melees, huh?
But see, if that's not a bigger, and see, that's what I'm talking about with, because Daemon has been doing something this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
It started in the beginning when he brought that dragon egg and Rhaenyra had to go get it.
Right.
Then it continued when you saw him harvesting more dragon eggs.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the name of every dragon and their
Right.
location and who
Right.
and what they belong to. He's collecting. He's trying to bring the Targaryen family back to its reign.
Right. Like that's what he told. That's exactly what he told Rhaenyra. Basically, it wasn't dreams that put us on the throne. It was dragons.
Mm-hmm.
It was dragons.
They're like having a nuke. There's a set number of nukes, and he wants all of them.
Right.
Man, that scene too was intense.
Right, but also, you know, because Daemon, that's the thing where even, you know, Viserys, when they were like, Daemon could backstab you and he'd laugh at him. He is so fucking loyal to his family. He just he needs everyone to quit fucking around, is the point.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You basically
he's like looking at her like, stop fucking around. Like, yes, you're going to align with your granddaughters. We're fully aware. Just shut up and move on.
Right. And you even saw that in the last episode with Daemon. You know, yes, he was there to with his wife Rhaenyra, and obviously his brother is Viserys, but he got to the fucking point. Bedside with Viserys. Hey, Viserys, listen, there's some shit going on that you need to know about. I know you're sick. I know you know, on your way out, brother, but you got to fix some shit, set some shit straight before you kick the bucket. So he's definitely all about business, all about family. And you see that. I even love this scene with him right here when he said we can have all the Hightowers' heads on stakes before the fucking moon turns. I'm like that. I laughed. I'm like, bro, I love Daemon. I've loved Daemon since episode 1. So I'm like, yes, that's honestly the approach. I like the temperament that Rhaenyra has, but I'm like, Daemon has the approach of war, bro, because it's after, and again, we'll get to it. But after what happened to Viserys, again, knowing that was happening, I'm thinking to myself, when Rhaenyra turns from the fireplace and faces the camera, I'm saying over and over, war. It's war. It is fucking war. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's war. And like
fire and blood and cheese.
Yeah, like the actor says that plays Aemond, that was the domino effect. That was the deal that started it all. So when Lucerys and Jaehaerys both stood up and said that they could go, you know, because Dragonback is faster than Raven, that they would go. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I can't believe I almost skipped this scene where Otto showed up and all that fucking
Otto
sureness and bravado that he had on, talking about some King Aegon and here are his terms, and this is what he wants from you. If you do this and you bend the knee and you swear yourself to them, then he'll give you this. And I, again, Daemon came to the fucking rescue. I love that what he said. I'd rather feed my kids to the dragons and have my sons be cupbearers. And yeah, like no, yes, like no, my kids are not going
Like
to
you gotta be fucked up.
Yeah, bro. Like we should be on the throne right now.
You know what's really wild about this scene, though, and this kind of argument? It is in stark contrast to previous episode where all the men kept trying to explain to Alicent, here's what needs to be done. And the whole time Alicent was like, no, spare Rhaenyra. Spare her. And in this episode, Rhaenyra is like, I don't want to start a war. And all the men behind her are like, there's no choice. This is what's going to happen. And now after that moment, it's like, it's war.
Like here we are.
But don't get me wrong, they have better heads than the warmongering men around them, right?
Right.
But you don't fuck with a woman's kids, and this is
what happens. It's like I said again, taking it back to the Marvel universe. It's like I said with Wanda, hell hath no fury like a woman fucking scorned. If you like bro, you are not stopping a mother when it comes to her children.
Absolutely not.
You're not. So you've now definitely put her in the situation where now Mama Bear has to attack. You've just hurt one of her children. And I love the
I wish he would have gone Queen Daenerys level on this dude and literally just been like, oh, Otto, with her dragon behind him, you're here to bend the knee.
Right.
And then he goes to give the paperwork and she's like, are you going to give the knee?
Yes, exactly.
And then her dragon eat him, and that's over with. And then she justifies it as
I'm a big fan of Dracarys. A huge fan of it. So
yeah, but all of them would have got burnt too.
Well, that is true. She was super close to the rest of them, but I'm a big Dracarys fan. I would have Dracarys the fuck out of all of them. All of them.
Eat them right now.
Man, because like but I do like that comparison. Again, you'll learn about Daenerys when you watch Game of Thrones, Corey. But it's true. Like Daenerys, it's either you're going to do it Daenerys's way, or she's going to have you killed. I mean, it's just that point.
Yeah, and I know you're only on season 5, but I'll say this: you'll see more of when she finally makes way to Westeros. That's literally she shows up and she's like, "I'm Daenerys Targaryen. Are you bowing or are you dying right now?"
Yeah, like
there's no fucking.
Yeah, I'm ready for her. I'm ready for her to like just get into that rawness, and I think that's why it's next season. It's gonna be crazy because, like you said, they crossed the lines have been crossed now. The war has officially started.
Right, and see, I'm like Daenerys in that position because I've been saying since watching all this, if this was real and I had a dragon, you're not telling me shit. What I say goes. Like if I land down wherever, bend the knee, or get burnt, the Dracarys every time. That's just me telling you. I'm a villain in anything that I play in. So that's just me.
I would do it too.
Right.
But I even like the scene here where Rhaenyra just appeared here. What are you saying, SMH2 Cornelius? I like the scene though where she came in and she's like, it's Queen Rhaenyra now. You know, it's no longer Princess Rhaenyra, and he just kept disrespecting, saying Princess Rhaenyra, and you know, now saying the things that he was saying that Viserys as his cupbearer. Then that's he said or what Daemon said there. So yeah, just that whole scene. I thought that scene was interesting there. I like the conversation between the two of them. I didn't like, though, like you said, the whole thing about Rhaenyra saying, you know, King's Landing, I have my answer upon morrow. I'm like, no, Rhaenyra, no. They are like, why? And my thing was, I get it. She wants to honor what she promised her father, that she would run the realm the way that her father ran the realm. But at the same time, they've already proven themselves traitors to you by even crowning Aegon, by even entertaining the idea of crowning Aegon. So I thought to that moment, again, that's a Daenerys moment for me, where it's like, you're here to bend the knee. So yeah, I'm definitely I was like, nah, Rhaenyra, no. And that's why Daemon and her had the conversation that they had in there, where, you know, when after she had to clear the room and he said, what are you going to do about it? They've already done this. They've already, basically what I just said, they've already put him on the throne. What are you going to do about it? And then, she has him clear the room, but then he tells her after he chokes her out, he's telling her, like, basically what we just said. It wasn't dreams that put us on the throne. It was dragons.
Right. Well, that and fucking Daemon is just very like Daemon is one of those people that his actions, which are often perceived sometime as manipulative or deceptive or this and that, he says it to the boys at the beginning of this episode best of all whenever he says, let me show you what true loyalty is, right? Mm-hmm. His loyalty is to his house. It is. And in his mind, if he has to do something that Rhaenyra wouldn't like, fuck her, it's for the better. In his mind, he's like, I don't care because it's better for you. Right? I don't
know if you guys can hear me. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties.
No, you're good. We hear you.
But our last episode, I remember saying, like, I'm very curious to see how both Otto and Daemon play a hand in this whole role and how they would manipulate the women in their own way. Because like Trey just said, if, there's something that she wants to do that Daemon doesn't agree with, he's going to be on some fuck you and he's going to go do it. Because at the end of the day, he's loyal to his house.
But and at the end of his name. Right. The name in the house, like, for sure. But at the end of the day, too, he also knows, like, I just keep going back to that quote. It's not dreams that put us on the throne. It's dragons. And we got, how many did he say? We got 13 of them. Why are we even talking? What are we talking about at this point? But I also understand where Rhaenyra came from. I don't want to be a queen ruling over ash and bone.
Bones, right.
So
this is my next question. This is my question. So that whole scene where he's like choking her out, mm-hmm. and he's like getting on to her, and she says, "Oh, you don't know." Is this not a story that most people know, like the Song of Fire and Ice? Is this like a forbidden secret?
It's a Targaryen legend.
Yeah.
And it's literally, especially 200 years ago, it was a vision by a specific Targaryen.
Aegon.
It's really not out and about yet. The Starks know of it. But, here's the difference. So there is the true story that there will be a battle in the north, right? That winter is coming. It's literally House Stark's name. It's been known by Bran the Builder thousands of years ago. They know of it. But this specific vision is that a Targaryen will unite and save them. And that's something only the Targaryen family knows.
Okay, that makes sense. So he was, obviously he was like freaking out because he's like, we need to, I don't know why we're having this conversation. But the shock of like, oh, you don't know. Was that something that he was supposed to know because he was Targaryen?
No, it's just something his brother kept and held very closely, and his brother keeping a secret from him hurt him.
Makes sense. Okay.
Right, yeah. And then we jumped on to the scene with Rhaenys, and Corlys here, and it was Corlys, laying there talking to Rhaenys, and basically Rhaenys just telling him, I needed you, and you left. You went on an adventure when we needed you the most. We had just lost 2 of our kids. On top of losing 2 of our kids, everything that's going on in Driftmark. Your brother tried to take claim to the throne with your absence and you being on your sickbed. Now he lost his head. Daemon took it off, But then again, it goes back to what we were saying, the conversation they had where he started to go in on Rhaenyra, but then she told him, like, that girl has been holding it down while the men are ready to just go to war. I like the conversation that they had because it's ultimately what brought Corlys in there to basically bend the knee, and put in and offer his fleet and everything to Rhaenyra. Because even when he came in, and I'll go ahead and get to that scene, even when he walked into the meeting that they had, it was Princess Rhaenyra. It wasn't Your Grace.
Right.
So by the time he walked in, he still hadn't made up his mind. I think what it was he had listened to what Rhaenys had to tell him, obviously. But then he came in there and saw for himself, like, this is, like he was saying, this is all that you've got. You're going to need more than that. And then what did she say? She said, but all of them swore oaths to me. And then he said,
they have Stark and House Baratheon and the Riverlands. And he says the Riverlands are fickle, which we know that from Game of Thrones.
Right.
Right.
But he also brings up that this was many years ago with Baratheon and Stark. It was their fathers and grandfathers that swore to you as a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough. That's not proof. And basically the same thing that Baratheon says later in the episode, that reminding them of their oaths is not gonna fucking do it.
Right.
Like you're gonna have to start putting your foot down
Well,
and demanding it.
Yeah, well, demanding it too. And he made the point. He made the point of, well, what did you, what are you coming with? But at the same time, I understand that I understand that telling them that, reminding them of their fathers and grandfathers' oaths is not going to do anything. But at the same time, you swore an oath to the crown. Your bloodline swore an oath to the crown, and by doing so, you should honor what your forefathers before you have said. And that's where Rhaenyra's coming from. I see where Baratheon's coming from, like, okay, but are you going to marry one of my daughters and things like that? But Lysaris told him, I can't, I'm already to be wed.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an interesting scene there with the around the table talking to everyone.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was realistic, especially it's like, if you're gonna go collect allies, you do have to bring something to the table besides your grandfather and father before made a pact to my line, or a pact to my father.
Right. And then you've even got so the scene this is where I wanted to get to here, with the scene between where Lysaris and Jaehaerys had spoken up and said that Dragonback is faster than Raven. And that when he said that, again, knowing what was going to happen, I'm thinking to myself, no, keep y'all's asses there at Dragonstone. No, do not leave. Nobody needs to go anywhere. And
I just had this feeling something was going to happen.
Yeah, I'm like, no, nobody needs to go anywhere. You guys stay here. And then she agrees, to let them go ahead and go. She makes them swear to go as messengers and, not as warriors. And they go off their separate ways. Then you've got, go ahead.
Her thoughts there, which makes a lot of sense. It's not common. How do I phrase this? If we're rival kingdoms, right, and I send my nephew as a messenger, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are not to kill him. That is not something people do, right?
Right.
You don't kill a pup. You just don't do that. That's not because then at that point, no one's going to send anyone anywhere, and it's going to be a whole different deal, right? Like there's a certain level of status and royalty that is like respected even against an enemy.
Right.
So I truly think she thought and also him going to the north or him going to the Stormlands, the Lord of those lands will protect you because it's his head. If, he doesn't.
Right.
Well, and she even said he's an honorable man, and he knows
he said
how to go about this gesture.
No, he said that Rickon or whichever Stark is an honorable man.
Oh yeah, that is true. He did say that
about Baratheon. The Baratheons are not an honorable people at all. All they know is drink, eat, fuck, and fight.
Yes. You'll learn more about the Baratheons in Game of Thrones.
I'm so excited.
But then, and so Lysaris is on his way. He's on Eric's, and he shows up. Well, I'm sorry. Now we're at the scene where Daemon's trying to. I'm assuming this was one of the wild dragons he was just talking about, right? One of the dragons that is riderless. Yes, and he's singing the song that he's singing in High Valyrian there. And I love, again, I think it just shows, like you were saying, Trey, how people say don't know if it's a spiritual connection or whatever it is with the dragons. I do believe that certain Targaryens have certain type of like Daenerys, have a certain type of connection that they can make with the dragons like that. And I think Daemon is one of those. I think Daemon has a certain connection that he can make with the dragons, because they even kind of hinted at that. I even want to say with the looking into the dragon's eye, and then it turning into looking into Daemon's eye. It was like when they did that, it was the understanding that the two of them had. I think we're about to see that dragon. That dragon's about to be with the Targaryens for sure. I thought it was interesting. I like the scene a lot. And then they had moved on.
So fucking cool when it started blowing fire, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought that was so dope.
Clenched. I was like, bro, That was
Yeah.
so
I
terrifying.
that was another scene that I got really big chills on.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see. And then you've got Lucerys, who finally arrived. Where the Baratheons at?
The Stormlands.
Yeah, so he finally arrives in the Stormlands, and then before this even happens, he's getting up there and he introduces himself to them. You see Vhagar just chilling in the courtyard, and I'm just thinking to myself, fuck. No,
I know, I was like,
Yeah, he's
God
like the little
damn
fucking
it.
chicken of a dragon.
Yes.
Vhagar's the size of a fucking castle.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man.
I
So
was like, oh my Lord, this poor little baby.
he goes in. He's talking to which Baratheon? What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many of them. So he's talking to the Baratheon here, and then he tells him, Queen Rhaenyra, and he's like, well, I just got a message from the king. Which is it? Is it a queen or a king? Obviously, the Targaryens don't know who needs to be sitting on the throne, and things like that. So then Lucerys says it's queen, but before Lucerys can leave after being denied by Baratheon telling him, go back and tell your mother that we cannot be summoned just by oaths and things like that, basically. So then,
but see, what's really funny about that is he's all fucking bravado, but the minute he goes, okay, I will tell the queen, you could see he was like, ah, fuck. Like this is definitely
right.
He doesn't know how to play this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you've got, as he's getting ready to leave, and like Cornelius just said, should have known right then and there, he was screwed. It's on like Donkey Kong.
He was screwed.
Yeah, honestly. And then you've got right there. Then you've got he's getting ready to leave. You got Aemon, that's like still on the eye for an eye deal. And at this time, just like in the book, he's got the sapphire in his eye. He had put the sapphire in his eye, and I didn't know if they were going to show or do that, and I thought it was cool that they did. So you've got him, trying to fight him, and he's something. I don't want any bloodshed in my palace. He came as a messenger, escort him back to his dragon, blah blah blah. Well, as he's out there and he's speaking to Eryx, and he looks over, and before he even talks, he looks over and sees Vhagar's gone. He's like, God damn. So Aemon beat him to the punch, beat him to the courtyard. He's already, on Vhagar. Now, from there, we already all had to have known what was about to happen. Vhagar is massive. There was no way Eryx was getting away from Vhagar. And then on top of that, I felt like the moment when Eryx attacked, it was because he felt so threatened. It was like, what am I going to do in this moment?
What else? Like, as a dragon, you're going to attack. Like,
right.
Yes.
Right. He felt threatened. So yes, he fight. Because at first I was thinking to myself, did Lucerys tell him Dracarys? Did he tell him to? But then he didn't, because he was like, no, Eryx, listen to me. And then Vhagar then got pissed at that fact, to where now Aemon saying, no, listen to me, Vhagar.
Well, see, and that's the thing with Aemon too. Aemon is very clearly just taunting him.
Yes.
Even this
that wasn't clear to me at first. That wasn't clear to me until Eryx hid. I thought he was really trying to take him out at first.
Well, I was back and forth on it, but when he went in the narrow strait where Vhagar couldn't go, I was like, all it takes right now is a Dracarys. That's all it takes. Mm-hmm. He is deliberately flying over him, and I just kind of realized he's intentionally heavily antagonizing him.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna do it that easily. I think he really wanted the combat, like the one-on-one. I think he really wanted to do the whole I'm bigger and better than you. I didn't see him taking the easy way out.
Yeah, and I'm sure he wanted him to go home to his mom and be like,
oh, he scared me.
Oh, he scared me, sure, but that's not what happened though.
No, because I said, it was just like with Eryx. Oh, go ahead.
Going back though, before he got on Eryx, he was saying like, focus, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think in a way he knew like you're gonna feel what I feel, because of course if you connect with the dragon, of course I'm assuming emotionally they're gonna pick up on your feelings just like a cat or a dog would.
And I would definitely say that they have a connection. They have a connection with them in that way, as far as feelings. I would say that. I could see that.
Yeah,
Honestly,
and because of
definitely
course,
like
like he
this.
didn't tell his dragon to shoot
Because you
fire.
can
Like the dragon shot fire because it felt threatened
you could even go
because
back
its master probably
to add claim to what you just said. You could even go back to the episode where Leonor's sister, I forget her name, where she told Vagar Dracarys. Vagar didn't want to do that. Vagar was
Yeah.
not trying to do that to her. And it's because he had
Yeah.
that connection with her. So yeah, I would say, yeah, they have their
Right,
connection
I would
with
say
He
the
cried.
riders.
He cried out to her,
like
like,
you
"Please
said,
don't
a
let."
cat
Yeah.
and dog connection more than a, you know, they're not mentally bonded, right? But
Right.
I mean, it's like you see, like you mentioned Drogon earlier, and how at one point Drogon just literally was like piss off Daenerys, like he was
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
kid. He's looking at her like, I'm a big bad male dragon. Look at me, and then he starts understanding her and growing and maturing. And I mean, most of these children literally lived in they were born and it's in the same crib as their dragon's egg. Like,
Right.
you're definitely that's why like Caraxes listens to Daemon so well. That's been his dragon for like 40 fucking years. They're best friends. Like,
Right.
Right.
That's why.
these guys are not.
Yeah.
These are new dragons to them.
Right, exactly. That's
Yeah.
why Vagar's not trying. Like you see it here. No, Vagar. No, he couldn't control Vagar in that moment. At that moment, when I saw this, I was thinking to myself, okay, are we kind of going to deviate from the book? Is Lucerys going to survive?
Oh no.
I know.
No.
But then when he came out, and then you've got Vagar that just rips him apart. So fast. So fast. Like I was looking for
So
Lucerys'
fast.
body. I was like, oh, it's
There's
gone.
no way. It's gone.
And I was just like, man, that whole scene, that whole thing. I'm just thinking to myself, my gosh, and I knew it was coming. I'm just like, no.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. Between that opening scene and here, I looked at my wife, and I've never seen her so angry before. She looked
as a
more
mom,
mad than Rhaenyra does.
Yeah, it
Literally,
was.
as
It
a
was
mom.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, as a mom, literally, as soon as I saw this face right here, and from this moment until the end of the episode, my hands were shaking. I was pissed. I was like, if this does not get you mad, if this does not send you to war, I don't know what the fuck else to do at this point.
And Daemon knew, or I'm sorry, Aemon even knew that. That's that face.
He knew. He
that
was
is
like,
the face.
Yeah, he fucking knew.
He was like, damn.
He knew exactly what
I was not expecting this to go this way. But now what I've just done is now about to be the domino effect of now we are
But
war.
then this is my question. Is that gonna humble him? Is that experience gonna humble him? Because let's be real.
No.
He
not
has
at all.
control over. He has control over that dragon, but that proved he only has such a certain control.
No, humble Daemon or Aemon. No.
Only reason I can say that is just because where I currently am in learning the history of the Targaryens from the book and stuff. No, the motherfucker is still a goddamn menace. He's terrible.
Well, you also got to think. So after this moment, when he goes back and tells Alicent what happened, right? Sure, they're going to be pissed at him because he just started a war, but they're also going to be like, well, you're the strongest fighter we have, so what can we really do to you? Like,
True.
We can't lose you. And honestly, the way I explain it best is this whole scene right here, even his face. So this is him fucking around, and he will find out.
Yeah, and I really like what Gray just said. Gray, and I shout out to Gray, shout out to Cornelius, shout out to Sir Yuri G. We appreciate you guys being here. You guys are ones that are here during our live streams and everything, so we appreciate you guys. But what Gray just said, dragons are going to do dragon shit at the end of the day. Arax started it, Vagar finished it, and it's like,
for real.
Yeah. So
dragon gonna do what a dragon gonna do, baby. And then gonna stop.
Sir Yuri G said that face is the moment that he knew he fucked up. Yeah, and that's that moment.
Yeah,
he knew. Damn, I fucked up. I just started.
That's what I'm saying. I saw him do that, and I was like, "Oop, someone fucked up." And then I turned and looked at my wife, and I was like, "Oh, she's pissed."
Yep. And see, I knew in this scene here that was them walking in to tell Rhaenyra, Viserys is gone.
But can I real fast point this out, because we didn't talk, we skipped the scene when it got lit. That table getting lit was such important symbology.
That's like the beginning of the intro, right?
No. Oh, you mean the blood on the thing?
Yeah.
I think so. But
okay.
I'm just saying in this episode, how the episode started with that table not being lit, and her and her son both like, oh, we were put in these positions, the one that died. Then all the hardships that happen and then they find out that it's time to go, and the table is lit and the fires are lit and they're both thrust into their positions. And then at the end, it is framed because they pan across the table. There's a reason it's framed that way on the last one, because now she is a light like that table, ready to fucking rain hell.
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, I see the symbolism there. Yeah,
it's intentionally there the whole episode.
Yeah,
and you see Rhaenyra's face here as the camera zooms. That face right there, you see, that's war. That is a mom that's going to now fuck you up. Now, obviously, like I said, if you know the book,
you just see it in her eyes.
Yeah, you just see it in her eyes.
Is it really weird that she looks like Millie Alcock there?
No, she does. She
looks like her younger self there for some reason more than ever before.
Yeah, that's like Cornelia said. That's the face. It's on now. Now it sucks that we have to wait.
It's on
until 2020, whatever the fuck, to see that. But no, it's on now, and they know that.
It's on.
Aemon, I'm sure has to. I wish we could have gotten the Aemon going back to King's Landing and having to tell them what happened and seeing the reactions to. Now they have to obviously know now. Oh, she is going to retaliate.
I think, and this is just my opinion, I think it's very smart where they left it off, and here's why. So, this obviously had a much bigger budget than season 1 Game of Thrones. Obviously. It had a very nice budget, but they still were playing with the thought process of, will it do as well as, will a spinoff do as well? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, was Game of Thrones a one-off, or will this do well? And since this has done well, that budget's about to get so much bigger.
Oh yeah. Because it, like I said, don't get me wrong, I love
it. Did very well.
I love House of Dragon. It's great, but it ain't no Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is amazing, bruh. And House of Dragon, I think that's not slighting House of Dragon. I think that if anything, I'm pumping them both up, because to be able to say that one show is really, really, really good, but its predecessor is really, 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 really good. I mean, I think that speaks volumes for what they're doing over in that universe.
Well, and House of Dragon has one thing going for it that Game of Thrones doesn't have. The fucking book's done.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, season 5 of Game of Thrones, you said you're about to start 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the last season that has a book.
Right. Yeah, I know that part.
Yeah, season 6 is you can. I mean, I think it's one of my favorites because it has the Battle of the Bastards. But I'm like, you can tell, and then the ending is not good. Where this series, we know the ending. You know what I'm saying? It's been written.
Mm-hmm. It's been written.
So it has a chance of being a better complete story than Game of Thrones did.
Yeah. You got Cornelius that said probably come in January 2024. And then Sir Yuri G said, I don't want to give any major spoilers, but man, Daemon does some sadistic shit during the War of Dance of Dragons. Oh yeah, he does. Like I said, if you know, and so Sir Yuri G, you know the lore, then
I'm not surprised.
And things. Yeah, no, yeah, that's if again, I would honestly, Corey, if you want to, I don't know if you want to spoil yourself for season 2 or anything like that, but I would dive into listening to the books and things because
I've got a 2-hour video that sums. And honestly, it's the full book collection of all of the histories, the written text histories told by maesters of Westeros, and the entire Dance of Dragons story is the first, I think, 40 minutes. It says every major battle and everyone who dies.
Oh, okay.
I can send it to you.
Yeah, and how Rhaenyra dies and
Yeah, send it to
everything.
me.
Like, yeah. I mean, but you learn in Game of Thrones how Rhaenyra dies if you hadn't read the books prior. But like
Yeah,
Cornelius
I
said,
definitely
Cornelius
haven't
said
read
they
the
need a
books.
retcon. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Cornelius said they definitely need a retcon the last season. Everybody says that. I haven't gotten there, obviously, but everybody says about season 8. Grace said it's about to get ugly. Yes, it's about to get super ugly.
I'll say
Super
this one
fast.
thing real quick. Deshaun, to make a good example. Remember how it took like 3 fucking seasons for Stannis Baratheon to get from Dragonstone to King's Landing?
Yes.
Yeah, in one episode in season 7, they go from Dragonstone to King's Landing, back to Dragonstone to the north. That's how fast they speed up Game of Thrones, because they don't know what to do to fill the time.
Right. Yeah, well, that's
I
disappointing.
think that's why I was so hesitant to really dive into it, because I heard the ending was like not where I just heard the ending was not what everyone wanted or expected. So I'm like, I was like very skeptical of starting something that I was like,
It's worth
will
it.
I be disappointed in it
It's
at the end?
definitely worth it.
Yeah, and no, it's like I said, it's really good. But I really did enjoy this first season of House of Dragon, and I think that the next season, because it is George R. R. Martin, right? What he did say that in order to properly tell the Dance of the Dragons, it would need to be told in 4 seasons. And I think that that's not just him saying, "Oh, we need it." I think that's him saying, "No, we're doing 4 seasons because we're not going to fuck this up this time." You know, like they did with. Obviously, like they're doing
Game
with,
of
or they did with
Thrones.
Game of Thrones. He's like, so no, we're going
Right.
to accurately tell this. It has to be done in 4 seasons.
Yeah.
So we've got a journey ahead of us. This one has definitely come to a close, but it is a very memorable journey. I mean, for me, one of the most memorable scenes is still going to be Viserys's entrance when they were trying to challenge the claim. I just thought that whole scene, not just his entrance, Daemon, the entire scene. I thought that is one of the most memorable scenes when it comes to the Game of Thrones mythos that's going to go down, and the
In
legendary
history. Yeah.
It was great. It was
That
great.
was a really good scene.
This whole season has been definitely what I wanted it to be. It is Game of Thrones. I feel like I'm back exploring the world of Westeros, but it definitely feels different, and that's a good thing, right?
It definitely feels different. It's a difference in Game of Thrones vibe from House of Dragon, for sure.
Right, but I definitely, with the complaints of time skips and this and that in this season, I've enjoyed it because I know what's coming is blood. I know what's coming. It's gonna be fucking heart-wrenching. I'm definitely here. I loved this first season. I'm glad I watched it, but I am so excited for season 2.
Yeah.
I'm so ready for season 2. Oh man, and I'm so excited because by then I'll definitely be done with Game of Thrones. So I'm just excited to explore more about this world. But season 2 is gonna be intense.
Yeah, no, it's exciting.
Hey Darius, is Tyrion Lannister your favorite character yet?
Oh yeah, Tyrion's one of my favorite characters.
I fucking told you.
Yeah, Tyrion is definitely one of my favorite characters for sure. I'll tell you this though, when I liked Joffrey's death, but it wasn't good enough. The boy deserves so much worse.
So you've seen the Red Wedding now.
Oh, I've seen the Red Wedding. He deserves so much worse. He is such a little shit, man. He's such a shit.
I love when he said that. He said, "I am a king. You're talking to a king," and he slapped him.
And then he slapped him.
Fall from my arm.
Yes, I love that scene. Love that scene. No, Joffrey's a shit. His parents are shits. His uncle dad is a shit. Like they're all just shits. Oh, actually, I'll take that back. Bro. Jamie, I know he's coming along. He's coming along now. But at the beginning, Jamie was a shit too. So, but no, I definitely once you start that, Corey, you're gonna enjoy Game of Thrones. You'll really enjoy it. Like Grace said, it's more. He said it's just better because there's no dialogue. He says better with dialogue. The dialogue's better because there aren't dragons in Game of Thrones like that.
Okay, and Corey, you'll learn. This is the only thing I'll say. I know this video is kind of going off the rails here, but the difference with this show and Game of Thrones is when watching the first season of Game of Thrones, I kind of sat there and was like, wow, this conversation between these two characters has gone on for like a good 15 minutes. And then it cuts to the next scene where you see some people entering a room and another conversation starts. And I'm like, oh, it's a fucking soap opera. Like, that's what this is. And once I understood that, oh, it was good. But I just had to realize, because at one point I was like, dude, all they've been doing is fucking talking and they're monologuing. And it's so fucking long. And I'm like 6 episodes in and all they're doing is having conversations. And then I'm like, oh, my uncle finally was like, yeah, that's the fucking show. And
No, no, it's
They're
great.
just talking.
It's great. It's great. So like I said,
It's
we
amazing.
definitely enjoyed this season. The finale was great. It was good for sure. Can't wait for the next one. All of us here, we all liked it, and I'm assuming everybody else liked it as well. So Gray, Cornelius, Sir Yuri G, we appreciate you guys being here, and the unknowns that have been in here that did not comment, we appreciate you guys being here as well. Just a reminder, if you were not in the live chat this morning, we will. This is how our Monday through Friday live streams will look. It'll look like this, except it'll be more of us on the screen because you have Q and you'll have Kellen, and if whoever's available for the time of the stream will be there. But this is how we will start doing this. So we'll start doing our live streams Monday through Friday. We'll still have the main live stream on Sundays, and the Monday through Friday live streams will just be touching on topics of that day that have come out or something like that. So we definitely appreciate you guys being here. We hope to see you guys in the next one. And Corey, Trey, any final thoughts?
I'm coming back
It
early.
was the shit.
Trey says he's coming back early. So we will. We appreciate again you guys being here. None of this works without you guys, and we do it all for you guys because it's fun to hang out with you guys. So we appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a good night.
You give us the ability to talk about our favorite shows after we watch them for an hour. It's
I
fucking
know.
awesome.
I
For
know,
sure.
man. I get to geek out with like my favorite people. Let's go.
Always a fun time with you guys. We definitely enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoy your. Have a good night. Everybody be safe. Have a blessed week, and we will see you guys tomorrow evening. Appreciate you guys being here.
Bye.